And I'm going to start off by saying this, right? For decades, as cybersecurity practitioners, we've been building walls. We've been building like next-gen firewall, web application firewall, and then we built watchtowers, SIM, right? And really, what we're doing is we're putting in perimeter security to essentially block out attacks coming from adversaries. But these adversaries have been humans. They think in human speed. But today, the world is very different. The world of AI adversary think in machine speed. So in machine speed, using algorithms, they're able to adapt, they're very agile, they think of new ways to attack. And we are today, look at our existing infrastructure, may not be quite ready to counter that kind of speed. So it's almost like turning up to a gunfight with a knife. We're just not ready. And today, I'm going to talk about what Mythos is telling us. I'm sure you've heard of Mythos. Yeah. And what does it really mean for future of cybersecurity? Okay. In the spirit of giving prizes away, I thought I'll give you some questions, then you can win some prizes. All right. So the question here is, what do you think is the median time between discovery of a vulnerability, like a CVE, and then the first exploit, which is the actual breach? Somebody created a tool to steal data from that vulnerability, using that vulnerability. What do you think is the time it takes between the two? So the answer is 771 days. Essentially, you have 2 years to patch your application before the exploit appears, right? Now let's move forward to 2024, 2 years ago. Very good. That's right. It reduced from 2 years to now 4 hours to patch when a CVE is known. Now let's move forward to last year, 2025. What do you think is the time? Anyone? Essentially last year, right? Before the CVs were announced, the exploits were already available. So you're behind. The curve has inverted. Now let me ask the last question. What do you think is the time it takes for your organization to patch a software, a vulnerability? Yes, it takes 20 days for you, on average, to patch a software. So from the get-go, you're already behind. You're already behind the schedule. Right? That's the adversary we're fighting today. We're already behind. So AI changes the security operating model. AI works at machine speed. It can find vulnerabilities before anyone else could, right? And it enables the attackers to strike a lot faster. It's automated. They strip together multiple vulnerabilities to create an exploit at machine time. The only way to really look at this sort of a new adversary is to understand how do we make runtime protection ingrained into your infrastructure. Because you have to live in a world where you're gonna have applications that are vulnerable. It's impossible to have zero vulnerabilities in applications. So in that world, runtime protection non-negotiable. So what did Mythos tell us? What did we learn from Mythos? It was only like a month ago, I think, a month and a half, right? What did it tell us? Four things, yeah. It can discover vulnerabilities at scale. And it does it at machine speed. It can create exploits. From vulnerabilities, it chains together on average about 4 vulnerabilities together to create an exploit that allows it to steal data. So exploit construction. Third thing is the tool is accessible to anybody. You don't have to be an expert in cybersecurity. And I think we touched this. It's outpacing the global patching window, which is 20 days. And you're already at negative. So it's tough for any cybersecurity operation today. If you look at Mythos cybersecurity success rate, is 83.1%. By the first attempt of creating an exploit, already 83% successful. It's pretty accurate. And Mythos achieved 72.4% exploitation success rate against major browser JavaScript engines by chaining 4+ vulnerabilities, like 4 different attack vectors, if you like. So attack vectors can be DNS, UDP, TCP, TLS, HTTP, and so on. Now we're into app and API and AI world. So there are multiple attack vectors it can come through to create an exploit. Yeah. Have you heard of this framework called CTEM? Yep, I see some nodding heads. CTEM stands for Continuous Threat Exposure Management. It was coined by Gartner in 2022. Yep. And I borrowed this slide from Deloitte, by the way, Deloitte Consulting, because they use this as a way to explain to customers, their clients, on how to look at Mythos AI adversary type of attack. And it has a maturity cycle here, as you can see. It has 5 steps in this maturity cycle. And it's stated here, from scoping to discovery to prioritize to validate and mobilize. To make it easy to understand, I'm going to map it to terminologies that you are probably more accustomed to in terms of the application space. So essentially, in the first scope phase, right, you're looking at understanding the governance of your infrastructure from an application standpoint, from API standpoint, from AI. If you're doing AI projects, what does governance look like, aligning it to your business? So that's the first phase, the scope part. The second part in discovery is to discover all your apps, to discover all your APIs. Who here believes that they have a total inventory of all their APIs? Well, okay, good. Yeah. So you need to have a good discovery of all your APIs and now AI. Prioritize is about posture management. Understand for each of these apps, API and AI, what's the posture? Is it safe? Does it have vulnerabilities? And then to validate those vulnerabilities, you need to do testing, what we call red teaming, pen testing. And you need to test it for app, API, and AI as well. And lastly, in order to respond, you need to have guardrailing or the firewall, right, for app, API, and AI again. So it's a life cycle, and it goes. And in a Mythos world, this cycle is more pronounced, and you need to be more diligent in practicing it. And not only that, you need to be faster, a lot faster, in doing this. So since quite a number of you are from financial sector, I believe, in this space, I thought it'd be good to apply it to FSI. And this is an example of how a bank would operate, right? If you look at the top from an attack surface area, you've got host-to-host channels, you've got API channels to do cash transactions, right? B2B. And then you got third-party SaaS services the bank may be using, whether it's a Salesforce.com or ServiceNow. And then last year is the Swift gateway for payments, right? This is a private network, usually. But what does it say? And this is coming from Deloitte Consulting. It says that the Mythos class models can possibly map complex exposure paths across banks' corporate channels, partner connectivity, and legacy systems without any exotic 0 days. Yeah. So the idea is a Mythos class kind of model is already able to correlate all these different channels or integrations that you have and potentially create an exploit out of it without even looking at your code. So if you map back to what we have been talking about, CTEM, then essentially what we're saying here is that the Mythos class models will find, right, these vulnerabilities across multiple vectors. We spoke about app, API, and AI. However, these vulnerabilities can only become an exploit if it can traverse through your data plane, your data path. If they cannot traverse through your data plane, your data path, then the exploit will not happen, correct? So that means if you have a comprehensive runtime protection that is AI powered, works at machine speed, you have a way to counter the adversary that's using machine speed. Runtime protection, okay? So three principles for responding to Mythos class of attack. First is use a model like C10, a framework so that the enterprise, all the stakeholders is able to follow through and work as quickly as they can in identifying the vulnerabilities. There's no silver bullet. This is the framework. The second part is use AI to speed up the protection, to compensate for poor asset visibility, unmanaged exposure, is needed, right? Including testing, red teaming testing is needed here, using AI to do that as well. Then lastly, the practical response is not magic. It's still the regular runtime protection, but it's about disciplined way of doing it and automated way of doing it at higher speed. Okay. So important thing is that there are gonna be more 0 days, but even before 0 days come, 0 days come, we should already understand what are the existing vulnerabilities that we already know of. It's quite well documented already today by OWASP. It cuts across from client side to application and API, all the top 10, I'm sure you've heard of, the top 10 web attacks, the top 10 API attacks. And now we got top 10 LM security, top 10 agentic security, top 10 MCP security. These are all documented already. These are not 0 days, yeah? These are documented ways of attack. And we need to be aware and we need to be putting that into runtime to block it straight away. The practical response, so these are some key takeaway points, I guess. Things here, we compiled. Okay, here we go. The 7 things here that you can do immediately, yeah. Number 1 is to do discovery. You gotta know where are your apps, you gotta know where are your APIs, you gotta know whether your team is using AI, right? You know what you're exposed with. And then compensating controls, you need to have virtual patching because 20 days is too long to patch your software. You need to have a way to virtual patch it immediately so it doesn't even get through and buy some time for your application team to update their app. Number 3 is vulnerable response through posture management. You need to be able to assess whatever the vulnerabilities, is it identified and give you an assessment how critical it is, right? So it's called posture management at all the 3 levels, from app to API and to models as well, AI. Rapid response toolbox. Signatures are great. The WAF signatures are great to block out all these known attacks. Bots detections are really good, especially for AI adversary that's using automation. You need to be able to take out all those automation by LLM-driven attacks. Remove that from your north-south traffic immediately. Don't allow any automation to come in. Behavioral detection, understanding how they are attacking your applications through behavior. Number 5 is visibility in the incident response, SecOps and governance, to be able to correlate this multi-vector attack, make sense of it from app to API to AI, using AI to detect that. And then number 6, adversarial validation through testing. So pen testing here involves like web testing, API testing, and AI testing. All these, be ahead of the curve. Test it, know your vulnerabilities before you roll it out. Yeah. And hopefully have a remediation that you can click to be able to put up the patches, the virtual patch, before the app is fixed. And then lastly, 7 is to secure the incoming apps pipeline. Shift left a little bit to understand how it's coded, how it was developed, and testing it earlier as well. Yeah. So these are 7 things that you could do immediately to address this concern. So last slide to conclude. Bottom line is this: the old model is broken, unfortunately. At machine speed, the old model just can't catch up. We used to wait for CVE report, and then we look at the score, high score, 9.0. We put in the, we need to go and fix it, right? And it took us 20 days to fix it. No longer the case, because the AI adversary is going to find these much faster than you can, and then create the exploit much faster than you can react as a human. So there has to be a different way of doing things. So automating a triage with human gates is no longer the way to do it. You need the AI to help you with that. So organizations that survive the AI exploitation era will be the ones that are best at perimeter defenses still, but do it at machine speed. All right. So with that, I conclude the presentation. And,
a huge part of the complexity that our customers are dealing with is having to deal with different infrastructure environments for their applications, because applications are more and more fragmented and they're more and more distributed. AI will exponentially accelerate this phenomenon, and we will see even more workloads that are even more distributed and that will also need to be secured and will need to be connected. F5 has invested early to provide this multi-cloud connectivity and be able to secure and deliver apps across these environments, but we have also invested in security for AI. So F5 is an AI enabler.
At AppWorld this year, we're making 3 big announcements. The first announcement is around our API security portfolio. F5 now has the most comprehensive API security offering that is AI ready for our customers on the market. What this means is that we have capabilities that span everything from API code scanning and testing, all the way through to network traffic analysis and scanning, all the way through to API protection and enforcement. That is the most comprehensive and end-to-end solution that is available from a single solution provider. So that's our first announcement. Our second big announcement here is around the data fabric that we have invested in significantly. This data fabric will be the destination for telemetry from all of our product families and will enable all of our products to become increasingly AI-driven. And then the third announcement that we're making here at AppWorld this year is that we are launching an AI assistant that will be part of our distributed cloud console. What that AI assistant will enable customers to do is use natural language queries to get back structured responses around their threat landscape, the posture and health of their application portfolio, and also give them guided recommendations and even offer them solutions for how they can better secure and manage their apps and APIs.